Welcome guys back to my channel Dr. Steve for Knowledge. Today I will listen about physiology of respiratory system. In this lesson we will discuss about physiological terms of respiratory system, mechanical of breathing, pneumothorax, respiratory system, volume and capacities, neural regulation, and how alveoli work. Let's start. Pulmonary ventilation. Air must move into and out of the lungs so that gases in the air sacs are refreshed. This process is called breathing. External respiration. Gas exchange between pulmonary fluid and alveoli. The respiratory gas transport. Oxygen and carbon dioxide must be transported to and from the lungs and tissue cells of the body by bloodstream. The internal respiration between the blood and tissue cells. Mechanics of breathing. Volume change lead to pressure change, which lead to the flow of gases. Inspiration, air is flowing into the lungs, chest is expanded. What will happen? The chest is expanded, the rib cage is elevated, the diaphragm is depressed. The lungs are stretched to the larger thoracic volume, causing the interpulmonary pressure to fall and air to flow into the lungs. The expiration, opposite of inspiration, air is leaving the lungs, the chest is depressed, the dimension of the rib cage is reduced, the diaphragm is elevated by abdominal muscles, and the lungs recoil to smaller volume, and the interpulmonary pressure rises and air flows out of the lungs. Interpleural pressure, the normal pressure within the pleural space, always negative, and this is the major factor preventing the collapse of the lungs. Pneumothorax, or called collapsed lung, refers to a condition in which the space between the wall of chest cavity and the lungs itself fills with air. This is the cavity called the pleural space or pleural cavity. The collapsed lung can be caused by injury to the lungs. Injuries can include gunshot, knife wound, and rib fracture, and some certain medical procedure. There are several types of pneumothorax. In this picture we can see the normal lung here and collapsed lung here. If it gets stabbing or gunshot and penetrated it, the air will enter the pleural space. This pleural space is filled with fluid. This fluid is produced by the vesical pleura and parietal pleura, these two layers covering the lungs. In this picture I will explain about the capacity and volume of the lungs. Everyone who wants to study the physiology of respiratory system, you should know this information. Let's start the measurement. The volumes of the lungs, this one. The capacity of the lungs, this one. The volume are tidal volume, is normal breath, amount of air inhaled or exhaled with each breath under resting condition. The inspiratory reserve volume is the deep breath, amount of air that can be forcefully inhaled after normal tidal volume inhalation. The expiratory reserve volume is the deep exhalation, amount of air can be forcefully exhaled after normal tidal volume exhalation. The residual volume, amount of air remaining in the lungs after forced exhalation. So the residual volume stay in the lungs till the person pass away. You will have this amount of air, will never lose it or change it. Let's start the capacity. Total lung capacity is about this number, 6,400, 4,200 is the average between them. It's different between one person to another. So it's a summation between the inspiratory reserve volume, tidal volume, expiratory reserve volume, and residual volume, summation between them. The vital capacity, maximum amount of the air can be expired after maximum expiration effort. This one, vital capacity, maximum inhalation, and the maximum exhalation. This one is called maximum exhalation, and this one maximum inhalation. This is the maximum amount of air that can be expired after maximum inspiration effort. This one, the vital capacity, we lose them all. The inspiratory capacity, maximum amount of air that can be inspired after normal expiration. It's this one, inspiratory capacity, normal and deep breath. Summation between them give us the inspiratory capacity. Okay. The functional residual capacity is the expiratory reserve volume with the residual volume. This is the functional residual capacity. Respiratory volumes and capacity. Dead space volume. What is the meaning of dead space volume? Is when you inhale normal tidal breath 500 milliliter, you will lose from this 500 milliliter, you will lose 150 milliliter of amount of air. in the respiratory conducting zone passageways. These will never go or reach to the alveoli. So this is called the dead space volume, which amounts of 150 milliliter. So the normal tidal breath is 500. You will only get to the lungs 350 milliliter. Spirometer. Respiratory capacities are measured with a spirometer. This is how to measure the capacity of respiratory system. The lung compliance is a measure of the lung's ability to stretch and expand. Control of respiration, neural regulation, phrenic and intercostal nerve. These two nerves regulate the activity of the respiratory muscles, the diaphragm and external intercostal muscles. These two main muscles for respiration. And we have also the accessory muscles, which chest muscles and abdominal muscles. The abdominal muscles push the diaphragm up, so they increase the pressure, then will make the air flow out the lungs. The medulla and bones, neural centers that control the respiratory rhythm and depth. So the center of respiration is located in the medulla and bones. Hyponia, the normal respiration rate, is called the quiet respiration. It's about 12 to 15 respiration per minute. The hyperpnea, during exercise or during hard working. So in this condition you will breathe fast, more than 15 respiration per minute. This condition we call the hyperpnea. Transporting of gases to the blood. The gases move by division from where they have high concentration to low concentration. Oxygen diffuses from the air in the alveoli into the blood. Carbon dioxide diffuses from the blood into the air in the alveoli. The alveoli are made up of two different types of cells that have different function. Type 1 pneumocytes and type 2 pneumocytes. The type 1 pneumocytes are the cells that are responsible for exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. The type 2 pneumocytes are perform two important functions. For type 2 pneumocyte, two important functions. They are responsible for repairing damage to the alveoli lining and also secrete surfactant cells. The surfactant cells are also important. There are also many immune cells known as alveolar macrophage in the alveoli. Macrophages are essentially called the garbage trucks of the immune system and phagocyze or eat the breast. In this picture we can see the type 2 pneumocyte, type 1 pneumocyte, macrophage, fluid with surfactant. The main function of the surfactant is to maintain the fluid around the lipid fluid around the alveoli to never make it collapsed. So this is the main function of the surfactant. Here we can see the molecular how the alveoli work. The alveoli has single layer which diffuse with the oxygen high concentration. For the alveoli, oxygen is high concentration and carbon dioxide is lower concentration. And the blood, the opposite of them. So when the single layer diffuse with the oxygen molecular, they will go to the capillary, to the bloodstream, and they will give the oxygen molecular to the bloodstream, and they will diffuse with the oxygen carbon dioxide, then return to the alveoli. This operation is made by the high concentration from the low concentration, and then for the oxygen, for the carbon dioxide from high concentration to the low concentration, and the alveoli. So this is how work of the alveoli between gas exchanging. The main information about it to say about the surfactant have many serious conditions, which one of them is baby or children. When before they birth, they should pass the 8th month, because they from the 5th month to the 8th month they producing the surfactant cells. So it's not completed, but they producing them. So the children can't breathe after the 8th month before they're completing or making the surfactant cells in the alveoli to keeping maintenance the alveoli shape and never making it collapsed. So this is the main function of surfactants. We finish our lesson today. I hope you enjoy and get benefit from my information in this video. I will make another video about the physiology, the clinical significance and the diseases condition related to the physiology of respiratory system. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.